amazing. Plug into our Facebook pages, and I from time to time I tell stories, and maybe afterwards I'll share. Every day is another story of the journey, especially in Chicago. And the people there are as tired and frustrated and waiting for change as we are. So rest assured of that. So it's an honor to be with you here today. So it's an honor to serve with these guys. I just, you've got a good representative and a good senator, and with Jill and Randy and Blaine. He's been an awesome partner since day one, and he's out working on the turn signals on the bus right now. We have a technical difficulty, so that's the kind of people we are. We get things done, and that's the kind of place that Adams and Hancock and all the surrounding counties over here are as well. We get things done. So last time I was here, it was a pretty exciting day. It was pretty hot, but it was a pretty good day. So what was that, about 2 months ago. So you guys are amazing. You've always been
more hairs, did you?
Yeah. Never going to forget that. I guarantee you that. So, we're having fun, and it's an honor. It's always an honor to be here. It feels like home. So before I start, I want to give you an update on the Chicago Nightmare. Friday night was a beautiful night in the West Loop. The Sidewalk Cafe of the Aberdeen Tap, a West Loop restaurant, was full of Chicagoans kicking off the weekend. And then an SUV drove up. A passenger rolled down the window and sprayed gunfire into the crowd while screaming obscenities. This kind of thing has become so normal in Chicago. I doubt if many of you heard that story, because the press isn't reporting on it, because it's become the norm, and that's a problem. Chicago is living the purge. J.B. Pritzker, Lori Lightfoot, and Kim Fox have turned the West Loop into the Wild West. And now that Cindy and I are down there, we're witnessing some of that. It's unreal. This past weekend, 50 shootings and 9 deaths. Why is that normal? This happens every weekend. Something's wrong, friends, and you know what it is. It's our leadership, and it must be changed. As the restaurant manager said, recovering from her bullet wound, vote these clowns out of office, or we will all be paying the price for it. But unfortunately, you only read and heard that from isolated sources, none of the mainstream press. And friends, she's right. You know why? At any given time in Chicago, there are more than 3,000 criminals roaming the city wearing ankle monitors, because Chicago has no cash bail. 3/4 of the Bracelet Brigade are violent criminals. 100 are murderers. The terror of Chicago is coming to your neighborhood on January 1st. You realize that, right? When J.B. Pritzker imposes the no cash bail on all of Illinois, friends, I'm asking for your help. If we're going to save Illinois, we must fire J.B. Pritzker. It's that simple.
Yes.
I can't thank you enough for showing up, as you always do. This journey has been amazing. That's how this started, just after suing J.B. Pritzker and traveling the state, reminding people that they were free. People started showing up because people were hungry for change. We're all here because we know Illinois is broken, and we're tired of the political class selling out the working class taxpayers because they lack the backbone to stand up and do what's right. Last week, Chicago's do-nothing mayor, Lori Lightfoot, said that I should go back to the farm. Well, I'd love to go back to the farm with my kids and my grandkids, but right now, our state's in jeopardy. And God has called us to this, and you right there along with our sides, and we're going to do this. Lightfoot, along with J.B. Pritzker, has villainized police. They've turned Chicago into the OK Corral, literally. Our people aren't safe. Our jobs are leaving. Our friends and our family are fleeing. You heard what the CEO of McDonald's said last week, didn't you? He said Chicago is a city in crisis. That's the CEO of McDonald's where it was founded. I can promise you this, nobody will fight harder for you and the future of our state than me, and I've been showing you that over the last 4 years. Illinois is my home, and I will not go anywhere. When times are tough, I'm not someone who retreats. I roll up my sleeves and I work just like you do until the job gets done. It's time to put the days of parents fearing for their kids, walking home from school or playing in the park behind us. It's time for people to feel safe walking in our cities again. It's time that we had a governor who puts the innocent victims of crime instead of criminals and special interest. I will demand law and order. As your governor, I will send an unambiguous message to criminals and wannabe lawbreakers. There's a new sheriff in town. This sheriff will not coddle criminals. This sheriff will not look the other way while children are attacked and gunned down while playing in the park. This sheriff will support our law enforcement heroes. This sheriff will prioritize safety for all citizens and every community. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you live in or how much money you make. The government's most basic responsibility is to keep people safe. That's what we will do. Our movement isn't about political parties or the dysfunction in Washington. It's about the people right here in Illinois. People are struggling due to rising costs of living and crime on our streets. We must reform Springfield and make Illinois an affordable place to live. We will roll back Pritzker's unlivable taxes and unrealistic proposals to make Illinois affordable for working people again. Friends, we all want a cleaner planet, but Pritzker's radical energy goes entirely too fast, his bill. J.B. Pritzker's law puts Illinois at risk of brownouts and blackouts and the doubling of utility costs across the state. Has anyone in this room experienced that the last few months?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just last week, PJM, the regional transmission organization from which most northern Illinois households get their energy supply, said this, that the radical law will cost Illinoisans billions in new infrastructure costs, and we will be forced to buy energy from other states because we don't produce enough here for ourselves. That is nonsense. You can't do these things and pretend to be supporting working families. It's that simple. Friends, it's time that we had a governor who tells the truth about what's wrong and works hard to fix the problems. A governor who isn't afraid to stand up and fight for working people and taxpayers. Not an out-of-touch trust fund billionaire who has never worked a day in his life. JB talks a big game about loving all of Illinois, but love is more than photo ops and throwing money at problems. Here's a message for J.B. Pritzker. Someone who loves Illinois wouldn't have sat idly on their hands while 36 veterans died in LaSalle. And friends, that's exactly what he did. Someone who loves Illinois wouldn't remain silent as their director of the Department of Children and Family Services has been held in contempt of court 12 times, while children and workers are being neglected and killed. And that is what he is doing. Someone who loves Illinois wouldn't try to paint a rosy picture while more than 500 people have been murdered in Chicago this calendar year. Something's wrong. Under my administration, we will repeal the Safety Act. We will end the practice of letting out violent criminals and even murderers who are currently being sent back to the streets as they await trial. I will protect the victims of crime in our way the Constitution demands. I won't look the other way when victims are exploited and terrorized by criminals. We will increase penalties for those who rob, hijack, and commit felonies with illegal firearms. We will make sure that law enforcement knows that they have a governor who has their back. My campaign has been endorsed by the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police, first time in Illinois history that they've endorsed in the governor's race. The Illinois Sheriff's Association, Safe Suburbs USA, because keeping Illinois safe is my top priority. That's the number one problem right now. We will restore parental rights by removing extreme policies from our classrooms and we must return the power to the parents. Today, when you leave here tomorrow and the rest of this week, go to your county clerk's office and get a petition to run for school board. That's the first step in taking back our schools. Elections are coming up in April. Go get a packet. Every school board will either have 3 or 4 people running for office. When I'm governor, we will ensure that parents and children have choices, and I'm talking vouchers. School choice and vouchers. The money must follow the child. We will demand a zero-based budget where every department starts at 0 and has to make a case for every penny spent, because the 5,000-page budget right now isn't working for anyone. We will remove the unfunded mandates that have increased our property taxes and driven our children and our grandchildren out of state. We will roll back JB's massive tax hikes, and we'll pass real tax reform that benefits working families and small businesses. We will attract new businesses, spark innovation, and support existing small businesses across the state to make Illinois grow again. We will focus on working people and families, not the elites. We can and we will reclaim Illinois for the people, restore confidence in our government, and rekindle prosperity for all. The time is now. The political elites and their self-billing have had their way for far too long. Now is the time for regular people like us to have our voices heard. This race is about jobs, it's about crime, and it's about your family. And on those issues, voters know that J.B. Pritzker has failed us. That's what we need to be talking about when we leave here today. I will work circles around Pritzker because I'm fighting for you, for your children, for your grandchildren. And if all of you, the working people in Illinois, show up on or before Election Day, friends, we're going to win in November. That's right!